Joining me now is House Minority Whip Steve Scalise and Florida Congressman Michael Waltz. Congressman Waltz, you say that if Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez is serious about what she claims to stand for, the working people, there in fact are a number of issues that comport with America First. Explain.
Well, you listed a lot of them, Laura. I will work with anyone who will bring American manufacturing jobs back to the United States that fled in the 90s and the 2000s with letting China enter the WTO and giving them these unfair trade deals, not only bring them back to the United States, but reduce our dependency on China. We've seen now in the wake of COVID that they'll withhold PPE, they'll withhold our pharmaceuticals, they'll withhold raw materials, they'll withhold all kinds of things to play this geopolitical game. And if AOC is serious, not only will we bring them back to the United States, let's bring them to the opportunity zones. Let's bring them to underserved, poor minority areas where we can set that manufacturing up. The other thing, big priority obviously for her and progressives, Laura, is the Green New Deal. Well, guess what's critical to their utopian vision of the Green New Deal? I don't agree with all of it, but battery storage is critical. Well, who controls 90% of the world's battery production and the raw materials, lithium, cobalt, and others? China does. So if for a lot of their vision that progressives want to see move forward, we can't have this dependency on China, and we can't have the human rights abuses that come along with it, the labor abuses that come along with it. They're strip mining our oceans. They're dumping plastic. Yeah. I mean, they're from environmental to human rights to manufacturing back at home. There are all kinds of things that we can and should be working on. This is an American issue.
Yeah, I sense that Congressman Scalise may not be so optimistic. See, Congressman, we're entering the holiday season. I'm seeing promise everywhere. We can't look at the glass half empty. But there are issues here, are there not, where there is a logical connection between the progressives and the populist America First conservatives?
There really are, Laura. And first of all, I will be having Thanksgiving with my family. I'll be eating a good turkey.
How dare you?
I hope everybody enjoys Thanksgiving with their family. Only liberal elites want to eat with their friends and family, but tell you not to. But now let's talk about a different form of hypocrisy. And I think, first of all, the items you laid out are very important. But let me add one to the list. And that is AOC should work with us on opposing America's readmittance into the Paris Accord. Because think about this, Laura. The Chinese Communist Party could not have drawn up a better plan to destroy the economies of Europe and America than the Paris Accord. First of all, there's not one country in Europe in compliance. And they exempt China till 2030. So China literally gets to wreck economies in the United States, in Europe, take those jobs. And by the way, if you're concerned about carbon emissions, China emits 5 times more carbon from making the same stuff we make in America because we actually have good environmental standards. Plus, what the Paris Accord would do would be to increase the cost of electricity for household families in America, which, by the way, hits the lowest income people the hardest. It would destroy manufacturing jobs, which are those blue-collar jobs you talked about. So she should join us in standing up for workers, standing up for low-cost energy, and opposing the Paris Accord.
Yeah, I think the climate change might be a higher hurdle to clear, but that point is well taken, Congressman Scalise. And Congressman Waltz, last night we told viewers about Bloomberg's globalist conclave that's happening now called the New Economy Forum. This is what he hopes it will accomplish.
The next few days are centered around some of the biggest challenges and opportunities we face. We'll also discuss how to strengthen global trade at a time when it has been undermined by nationalism and protectionism. Business leaders can help to strengthen and rebuild international ties that have been frayed over the last 4 years, including between the East and the West.
And the IPOs that they want in China, the business they want in China. I mean, I love how they wrap it in this gauzy, internationalism, as if it's not in the end about IPOs, M&A work, and business expansion, regardless of human rights abuses.
And Wall Street making billions on fees from these mergers and acquisitions as the Chinese steal our IP and steal their way to the top, often through a lot of these deals coming out of Bloomberg's Wall Street. But Laura, I just want to hit one other point. you made a great point in that if AOC does take, and the progressives do take this stand for us, for the American worker, China's gonna push back hard, and they're gonna do it through Hollywood. They're gonna do it through the celebrity athletes, and they're gonna do it through their favorite professors at their Ivy League schools that are also basically spying for China and double dipping through the talents program. So they're gonna have to stand strong and really, I think, figure out what their true values are, because all of their favorites, Hollywood and academia and athletic stars, NBA and others, are going to push back very hard, big money, and that's going to be very tempting.
And Congressman Scalise, really quickly, do you not agree at this moment that the working class voter is the natural Republican Party voter at this point, given where they're aligning toward China and more outsourcing, more global concerns versus American concerns?
They truly are, and you can see that in so many of the swing states that we won, so many of the swing House districts where President Trump really did help us flip so many of the seats that we won in Congress, because President Trump stood up for those hardworking men and women who Washington had left behind. Members of Congress and presidents from both parties were not looking out for those folks. President Trump was bringing those jobs back. President Trump, by the way, stood up to the bullies. And the bullies are still around. China's still there. Russia's still there. Iran is still there. And if Joe Biden were to literally hand over the keys to the store again, like he did when he was in the White House last time, it was Joe Biden and Barack Obama who gave Iran a nuclear weapon. That's not the route that those blue-collar workers want to see us go.
I think there's a progressive populist coalition that could be in the offing. I'm going to hold out hope. Congressman, great to see you both.